Alright, so let's just fucking get into it. So originally when I did this type of video, like talking about the tornado and shit, um, I did a get ready with me, did my makeup, but the video in total was like 2 hours long, and even when I edited it down, it was still like 30 something minutes. So, figured we'll just do it here. But first things first, actually, if you're gonna dislike this video and if you're going to, I don't know, be a bitch basically, or be a jerk, or be a fucking just dick, just fucking don't, okay? Because honestly, I don't want to fucking hear it, okay? I don't want to hear it, I don't want to see it, I just don't give a fuck. So if you're gonna do that, just go ahead and click away. So on April 29th, which was almost a month ago, it's been like 3 weeks I guess, so almost a month ago, on April 29th, there were a bunch of tornadoes that came through, like, around where I was at the time, like, so Van Zandt County, I think Henderson County, and maybe one other county or something. There were a bunch of tornadoes. I think now I've heard there were a total of 9, with most of those, like the last 3 or so, being like EF0s, which, you know, are still tornadoes though, like, so don't get like, be like, oh, just EF0, they're still like, they still are fucking there, okay? But anyway, so there were like 9 tornadoes, 2 of them causing the most damage. One of them was an EF3, and it like was, I think, on the ground for either 41 or 51 miles, right? And that one was more east of where I was. That was like more east of Canton, Texas. It was like east of it and stuff, and it like went over the interstate I-20 and like up towards Sulphur Spring. If you know where any of that is, then you know what I'm talking about. Log Cabin is south of like Purtis Creek Park and stuff like that. And it went north. Northwest more than anything, but like went north and then kind of cut, right? That is the tornado that actually hit my parents' house. So I do not live there. I used to live there. If you've seen any of my earlier videos on this channel, that is the house I was in when I filmed those videos in the start of my channel. That's where I was. I was actually there to house sit for them because they were out of town in Tennessee visiting my brother. Well, both my brothers, but so that's where they were, and so I was house sitting for like a week basically, and also like dog sitting and cat sitting because we have like animals, and yeah, that's what I was doing there, and that's when shit hit the fan. So April 29th was a Saturday. So basically, actually between 3 and like 5:30, our pool actually overflowed because of how much rain we got. It also hailed and shit like that. We ended up losing like our I don't know, do they have satellite? I don't know. We lost like cable and internet and all of that at some point. I don't remember exactly when. It was definitely before 6 o'clock, like cut off and stuff like that. Not the power yet, but so like I really had issues even tracking what exactly was going on. We actually had a weather radio that every time like a warning was issued, it would like be like burp, burp, burp until you turned it off. So that is how I kind of stayed in the know about weather being terrible. And every now and then I would go over and like turn it on and see what they were saying. Can you like not it? Anyway, every now and then I would go over and see what the weather radio was saying, and like they were basically just like, oh, shit's terrible. Woo. Literally. And so yeah, that's what I did. But eventually, shit got so bad to where I went and actually swept out our storm shelter, because we had a storm shelter in our garage. It's underground. I swept it out because priorities. I didn't want to be down there if, you know, shit hit the fan and there'd be a giant ass spider staring at me, because I can't handle that. I really like afraid of spiders. I can't deal with them at all. I can't deal with scorpions either. Like, no. So I like went and swept it out and made sure nothing was gonna kill me basically. And I did that probably 40 minutes before I went down there, 30-40 minutes. And then, yeah. Then I basically like changed into some different clothes. Why am I telling you this? I changed into like boots, for instance, which was helpful. I'm really glad I did that, because otherwise I could not have gotten out of the storm shelter after the tornado actually hit because of all the debris and shit. But yeah. But so probably like around 5:50-ish is when there was a giant bolt of lightning that touched down like right outside our backyard areas, but it was like in our pasture, but like it illuminated everything around me, like a, you know, white, purpley kind of like, you know, you've probably seen lightning, you've seen lightning before. So like it illuminated everything, and like that was all I saw for like that split second basically, and then the thunder was immediate, and like it freaked me out. and I was like, I think I'm gonna like go, like, and because I was pretty immediate, like, it's time to fucking get out. If you actually followed me on Snapchat, I actually posted a story right after that happened where I was like, it's time to fucking go. I gotta go. I'm out. Like, literally, that was my priority at the time. It was a happier time. But yeah, so I grabbed one of my laptops that I had brought with me, a blanket, a dog toy for the dog, and I grabbed Hachi, obviously. And then I went in the storm shelter. The power went off at one point while I was down there, but I heard our generator kick back on, and so it was on again. And then the power went off a second time, generator kicked back on, and then the third time, like a minute later, power went off again, and it did not come back on. And we probably sat there for maybe a minute, and then that's when the tornado came, and shit hit the fucking fan. And so basically, I was in the storm shelter, right? Like, the storm shelter is probably like a structure that's like 5 feet tall, deep, and then like 6 feet long and like maybe 4 feet wide or something. Um, and so me and Hachi, I had Hachi on my lap. I had that blanket draped over the right side of my body because like where you slide open the storm shelter door was like on the right side. So like I was becoming one with the corner over here, and like the entire right side of my body, and Hachi was like covered in this blanket. I was freaked the fuck out. I actually, looking back, I don't know how I didn't like strangle her, because I know during a lot of that I had to have like really been holding her real tightly. Like, because it was some scary fucking shit. But like she was real freaked out. I was obviously really freaked out. But yeah, so basically anything you hear about, you hear people like when they describe tornadoes talking about how like it's on like a freight train, and honestly I've only heard like a freight train like once or twice in my life probably, but I can say that it probably was like that. Um, it definitely was astoundingly loud. It was like the only thing you really could hear for the most part. Um, was just how like it just bearing down on you. I don't. It's very weird to describe. I don't know. Like it was just all you felt and all you heard and all you really sensed, I guess, was just like the loudness of it and like the pressure of it. Your ears popped, or my ears popped anyway. Um, Anyway, it was like really terrifying. I could hear in our garage, we had a window. I heard that when it blew in, like I guess from the wind or the tornado itself. I don't know. I could hear that when the window broke. You could hear the glass shattering and stuff like that. Towards the end of the tornado, I guess like right before it was over our house, like right before it passed over us, it like you could hear like parts of like the house being torn apart and stuff like that. Like, just like really loud, like snapping and stuff like that, but like not snapping, because like I'm talking about like full walls, like, right. um but anyway, eventually it went on its merry way. I think it was probably only um like where I was like at my house like for less than a minute probably. um Keep in mind, this is the tornado that was like almost an EF5. So that means, I think I've heard two different stories about how fast the winds were. So I've heard the winds were going 185, 180 or 85, and then I've also heard it was 195. I don't know which one it is. I don't really care to look it up, but it was really fast. EF5, if you want to know, it goes 200 miles per hour or more. So it was very close to being an EF5 from what I understand. And I think this one was also the one that was one of the wedge tornadoes, which means it was like big and fat, basically, right? This one was at some points like a mile wide. So like that's a fun time. But basically, it was really terrible. It was honestly one of the scariest things. Actually, that's not one. It is the scariest thing I've ever gone through, and I feel like I've been through a lot of like ridiculous things, and I still feel like this was absolutely terrifying, and I can't like emphasize that enough about how terrifying this was and about how freaked out I was. Just not, well, right before when it happened, and then like for things like that. It was very scary. It's just ridiculous. I might insert some pictures. I don't know. It just depends. I have a whole lot of pictures and videos, but like really, even just seeing pictures and videos really can't do it justice because it's so different when you like go there and stuff. It's just very different. Um, Also, if I do put some of the pictures, most of the pictures I will put actually were after we'd already done some amount of cleanup. So it actually looks a little better than the initial. But, and I think the best word to describe it, other than terrifying, is it was traumatic. Like it absolutely was. I feel weird saying that because I don't want to like over exaggerate, but it like absolutely is. You know, I've been asked if I think I had PTSD by people, and I'm like, I don't fucking know, okay? Um, like I obviously am not going to a psychiatrist right now, obviously. So I mean, I don't know, and you know, PTSD, you have to kind of, I think if I remember correctly from like my intro psychology course, you have to have like, I think at least a month's worth of traumatic, or a month after a traumatic event or something like that, before it can actually be diagnosed, because before that it's kind of just like you're still reacting in that mode, right? So but it can, you know, take place 30 days after. It could be years later where I might experience a really big problem. So you just never fucking know. Triggers are real, y'all. But actually, on that note, talking about triggers, like they actually are real. In general, I already knew this, but also we actually, a couple days later, I guess, we went to a restaurant um, that had a train that ran behind it. And this is like in a restaurant that was like in a metal barn, basically. And we were there, and then a train actually went by while we were eating. And it actually freaked me out. I couldn't finish my food. You know, it was very much like I couldn't do I didn't like it at all. It was very terrifying for me, and like, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but like it was very scary. And like I know, like I was with like my brother was there, my mom, dad, some other people, and like, you know, they noticed immediately because like I'd been like, you know, normal, like eating food, talk to people, whatever the heck you do, right? And I like tensed up like majorly, like you know, I feel like I didn't breathe for a few minutes, and like was really tense. I didn't finish any of my food after that. I was just like, I was like, I want to leave. I want more easily, by like really loud noises, and especially with the storm thing. Like as someone before this, I loved storms. I had to go outside when it was storming, like listen to everything. I just thought it was so great. I cannot foresee myself doing that. Also another thing, a couple of nights ago in Dallas, we had some really bad storms. And I used to never wake up in the middle of the night for like storms, for sirens, for anything, because I just don't wake up to that. I'm a very heavy sleeper. Um, and I woke up around like 3:30 a.m. because, well, A, it was really loud anyway. Like it was thunder that like shook the entire apartment building I'm in. And like it was so loud, but I couldn't go to sleep for at least like 30-40 minutes afterward because I was just like sitting there listening to thunder, and I was like, what if something bad happens? Where will I go? Like trying to figure out like my flight plan, like where am I gonna go? I'm on the 3rd floor. There are windows everywhere in this apartment building. Where am I fucking gonna go? We need a basement. Like anyway, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like realistically, if we hadn't had a storm shelter, I would be dead. Okay, and I'm saying that like probably, I mean, like, there's probably like a 90% chance that I would not be here and I would be dead. I mean, there's some chance that I would have been alive. But, I mean, like, for instance, the bedroom that used to be mine, it was completely torn off the house. Like, it doesn't exist, period. Like, the room itself was almost like it was just, like, just taken away, like, somewhere. We don't know. We don't know where that fucking room is, okay? But also the other room I had been in right before was in my parents' bedroom, watching TV in there, just because I like watching it in there, you know, whatevs. And I was in there, and like realistically, if I had been like sitting on their bed where I had been previously, I would have been impaled by a rafter, like a jagged rafter that came through. So that would have been enjoyable. But Or like if I had been in our living room area, like I would have been crushed by our back brick wall that fell into the house. I would have been crushed by that and I would have died. Um, Basically we have, so we lived in a brick house and it was completely brick, right? 3 of the walls, well, no, that's not true. 2 of the walls were standing. Okay, the front wall, it was standing. Part of it had actually been ripped off basically, but that front brick wall was standing. The drywall connected to a lot of it wasn't, but like a lot of the brick was. Um, so, and then one of the side walls was still standing. But like they're like basically they still haven't demolished our house. They're supposed to bulldoze it. We've been being told they're gonna bulldoze it for a couple of weeks now and they still haven't done it. But like it's a complete loss. There's nothing salvageable about the house. I mean, we've salvaged, you know, a couple of things that we've gotten out, like, you know, I think like their dining room table, because it was so big and sturdy basically, it actually, like, it's scratched up a lot, but it's actually okay. Um, you know, there were some clothing items that are okay, things like that. Actually, a good amount of my mom's like dishes are okay. um, so that's kind of funny. But yeah, but it was terrifying. This is already a 20-minute video. Oh my god. Um, anyway, I probably waited. So basically, I think the tornado hit basically at 6 o'clock, and I am basing that on the fact that a couple minutes before, like basically when I got in the storm shelter, I filmed a short video being I'm actually scared pretty fucking shitless. Like, dude, it's fucking crazy. And then I think around like 6:04 or something, somewhere between like 6:04, 6:10, I made another video basically being like, holy fuck, right? Um, like I did make those videos. So like they're time stamped on my phone. So that's why I'm thinking it was like at 6 o'clock. I do recall looking at my phone like around like 6:03, 04, and like obviously the tornado wasn't going on anymore, so I do recall it not being at that time. Um, but anyway, eventually I ended up calling 911. I didn't get out of the storm shelter yet. I had to like hold my phone up to like a hole in the storm shelter because you know you have to have like holes to breathe and stuff. So I ended up holding my phone up to it and I was like calling 911 with my 1 bar service and stuff. I don't remember what the fuck happened on that call. I just remember I was like, hey, tornado happened. Here's my address. Bye. I don't know if it was a man talking. I don't know if it was a woman. I don't know what they said. They could have fucking told me, hey, you know, Pete Wentz fucking just murdered someone. And I would have been like, oh, okay. Sounds great. Like, I don't know what they said. Like, I really don't. But yeah, I called 911 and then eventually I kind of got the courage up to like get out of the storm shelter around like 6:30ish. I decided I was like, we need to go see what the fuck went on. And in my mind, I had kind of prepped myself and I was like, this is probably what happened, blah, 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 is the damage. You know, just pure, like, blindly guessing because I didn't know. But, like, in my mind, I was like, okay, it won't be that bad. Like, probably just kind of tore through. Like, it was probably, like, a real small one. It was, like, tore through and, like, oh, everything's gonna be fine. I'll just go to bed tonight. Be cool. No. No. No, Sarah. No. Sarah, you're wrong. Sarah, no. Like, literally. I've never been so wrong. So I actually have a like image ingrained into my mind, like embedded in it, okay? Of when I got out of the storm shelter and like looked to my right outside a window that we had in the garage. Like I just saw like a tree that kind of V'd a little bit, and like it was like it used to probably be like I don't know like 15 feet tall or something, and now it was like 5 or 6 feet tall, and like it had been like just ripped off basically is what it looked like, and like there was just it was just like brown all around and like no green anywhere and just terrible looking. The sky was still really dark and kind of yellow in spots, and I just have that vividly in my mind, and I think it might just because it was one of the first areas I looked at, because realistically, it was not the worst area, okay? I mean, like, it's a fucking tree, and it's not the worst area by any means, but I remember I was like, that's just, like, what pops in my mind immediately when I think about this, but yeah, there was debris fucking everywhere. We even had debris that got in the storm shelter and stuff like that, like glass and things like that, insulation, sheetrock that got in, so that was enjoyable. It was just chaos. Basically, the most intact things, other than me in the storm shelter, were my mom's car and my car, which were in the garage, obviously. They're the most intact things. Keep in mind, my mom's car was totaled. Okay, my car, I don't know how the fuck it wasn't totaled. Right now my car has, what, $15,000 worth of damages to it that's in the shop. It's real fun. It's real fun. Real fun, guys. So keep in mind that those were the most intact, well accounted for pieces of anything. And they still were in shit condition, okay? They were drivable to an extent, but in shit condition. I will see you in the next video, which will... Anyway.